Hello, we are QGroup. This is our presentation for Emma. Next slide, please. In our presentation, we're focusing on how we can connect insurance firms' systems into modern or traditional insurance systems in terms of data collection, and how we can have access to digitized medical files in a secure and efficient way that still fosters innovation in the insurtech space. Next slide, please. So first, we want to talk about EMRs. These are electronic medical records that have increased in usage over time since the early 2000s. And when an individual requests their medical records, they are provided with a printed copy from their family physician. There are lots of notes on the records from physicians that contain a lot of valuable information. Next slide. So first point we want to address is the servers on which the medical records are stored. If they're not API compatible, they'll need to be upgraded, and some costs may need to be paid, and there may be some initiative that needs to be taken on this. But the reason that having API compatibility is very important is so that records can be easily shared and accessed. Once these EMR servers have API compatibility, we can employ an application like a banking app so that people can access their medical records themselves and share it with their insurance providers. This must be standardized across Canada. Next slide, please. In order to improve the interpretability of the data, we'll need to be able to analyze doctors' notes and record valuable information from it. To do this, we can employ a recurrent neural network model in order to recognize doctors' handwriting and store it in a text format. In order to train this model, we'll need a large training set of doctors' handwriting from medical professionals across Canada in order to make this reliable. Next slide, please.
This is how we break down this project. The first one is about digitization. We further break it down into three parts: record, store, and access. For record parts, basically we believe that the data should be recorded in a digitalized, standardized way, as Gavin has put it. And for storage, obviously we need some, for both storage and access part, we need some legislation support to make sure the whole process is secure and it's not violating personal privacy. And of course, we need maintenance issues in the storage of the data. And in this case, we can have access to these updated, complete data, standardized data, which will be conveniently accessed to by the insurance companies and under the consent of the clients. In this way, the risks of the risk can be lowered in the decision-making process, and then eventually lower the premium, which will make your insurance program more attractive. Here is an example of already very mature digitization of medical data in China. Basically, from booking an appointment to having medical tests to having prescriptions, diagnosis, every data of the medical trip is stored in a standard way and in a digitalized way in the medical system of hospitals. Next slides, please. Yeah, next one. Yeah. So we think the data sharing part has significant challenges, and we are proposing our solutions later. The first challenge is obviously comes from different platforms of different insurance companies, medical institutions. They have different standards, they have different format in recording those medical data. The second factor, which is very big, is the competition between those insurance institutions, insurance companies, because arguably you can say this sharing data thing can make everyone's life, everyone's work more easier, more convenient, but it's also making your opponents, your competitors stronger. So why are they supposed to do that? To figure out this question, we first proceed to the next one, assuming we don't have this competition, assuming all the companies are happily working together very well, they are cooperating, they're sharing data, is that all we need to ask for? Apparently not, because data is a time sensitive like asset. If you don't have updated complete data, then there's little use you can get from using those data. For instance, if I purchase like if someone purchased a insurance from company A and submitted his or her medical data to the company A, and then 5 years later he or she decides to purchase another like service from a different company B. In that case, the 5 years data, the 5 years old data serves little significance because it's outdated. And even insurance company A is willing to transfer it to B directly, it doesn't significantly help much in the decision making in insurance company B, because there's a lot of could happen in 5 years. So in this case, we're proposing two options. One is kind of an intermediate, like a phase one option. It's about building up this cross-platform system data sharing using the help with the help of APIs. The second option, which is our long-term like perfect option, is to create a centralized national or even at least provincial healthcare database. In that case, when we digitalize the medical data in a standardized way from the very beginning, we can use those data under the consent of the clients. We can use those data more efficiently in the future, and that kind of eliminates the competition issue, which makes it possible for different companies to work with each other and share data with each other. Next slide, please.
All right, so here's a diagram showing the two different aspects, like the customer pull from the client side and the platform push that's more to the B2B to the B2C side. So with the APIs in the platform, here's a parallel example from telematics, how the risk prediction has increased thanks to data from telematics, and how it helped both ecosystems from the providers and from the end retail clients and other corporate clients. Next slide, please. So here's some alternative approaches for focus areas to make the things secure and accelerate the adoption. Is to use like federated learning models that are like similarly seen in the blockchain or digital ledger solutions to private insurance. So really for private health records, because they have like they're sorted by medical insurance codes, and it can be easily randomized and easily made anonymized based on with inspiration from how clinical trials are derived. And it can be incentivized with qualitative treatments where the data collected can be used to personalize the treatment and customize the treatment with integration with like healthcare provider partners in an anonymized manner. So the next time the customer comes in, it doesn't have to come in or has like better results. So it can be tied in with biometrics as well for authentication, for security aspects. So that it would be counted into the stack that's used from different endpoints. Next slide, please. So here's the scoring matrix with the different providers. So if you have different variables or IoT solutions, like this like masks or counters, step counters, other stuff, or even like gym equipment or analytics from your personal trainer or your gym chain, and even pooling of different insurance based on different cohorts, like health cohorts. You have insurance where people have act as each other's sureties in different kinds of markets. So this is you could literally prioritize based on how it affects your premium. And you have your voluntary disclosure data, where each data disclosed could be used to perfect the model and used to reduce your risk as well from voluntary as a matrix. Next slide, please.
Thank you for listening to our presentation.